So Jon Jones has new criminal charges against him, and it's a strange and twisted story that we're going to go over during today's video. Just released was some body cam footage, so we're going to get a little bit of an in-depth look at the incident that took place a few months ago. Jon Jones just retired this past Saturday, and it was like the most uneventful retirement ever. Dana White just drops it at the UFC Baku post fight, and then Jon's over Twitter. Nothing really ceremonial or spectacular or engaging about it. Just like, hey, he's retiring. Aspinall's now the undisputed champion. So that was weird in itself. And then literally right after, this incident came out, and now we have footage from it. So I'm going to go in depth and talk about it. We'll start it off with, where the clip initially started getting a little bit weird. It was a car crash where Jon Jones was supposedly the driver and then fled the scene. And you can see the passenger in the car here. And let's listen to what this lady had to say about the instance as she's talking to police, and Jon's on the phone.
He was the one driving the vehicle.
Wow. It's almost silent. We got to turn the volume up and listen again.
He was the one driving the vehicle.
So he was the one driving the vehicle. And then a couple of seconds later, you're going to hear Jon Jones. So that was definitely Jon Jones's voice. If you know Jon Jones, you've heard him speak. That's him. I don't have a doubt about that. He's talking about they slit girls and they're the most evil people to speak. Is he talking about the police officers that have now pulled this, or didn't pull her over? I guess she was already pulled over, but have now investigated the scene? Are those the most evil people? This is strange, though, because like it's not making a lot of sense. You'll hear throughout Jon Jones is a little off-kiltered, and he keeps rambling on a little bit more here.
That's Jon Jones.
Jon Jones?
Mm-hmm. He was the one driving the vehicle.
She says, that's Jon Jones. I was like, Jon Jones? The Jon Jones? Oh, shit, we've had trouble with him in the past. This looks like a long night. And she admits that Jon Jones was driving the vehicle. What a rat. She just ratted out her friend. You know, I'm not actually shitting on her for ratting him out, but that's funny. She just told on him right away. That was Jon Jones driving. It ain't me. Jon Jones and his lawyers released a statement. We'll get to that. There's a lot to go through with this clip. It's not a super long clip, but there's a lot in this, minute and a half. And then I got another clip from a different angle that we'll go into as well. Let's listen to Jon ramble a bit more here. All right. So around the 36-second mark of this clip, he talks about cops.
They don't waste their cases with just killing you on petty crimes. But they definitely listen to conversations like this, and some of them are bored enough to kill you.
So this is where things get confusing, because initially it seems like he's talking about police officers, right? Ending people. And it seems like he's saying that they'll do it over petty crimes. But then it seems like he's talking about something else. And later on in the video, I have this weird clip from the end of the Jon Jones encounter where he seems just out of his mind saying things about the government, which we'll get to. But initially I took it as Jon Jones is talking about the cops. But then it's like, is he talking about the government? Like, who is it that he's freaking out a bit? Obviously, Jon Jones is under the influences of probably multiple substances. Of course, Jon Jones is known to have a bit of an alcohol thing. And a bit of the booger sugar is something that he likes to partake in every so often. But on top of that, something about this experience seems like it was a trip and psychedelics potentially. And thinking about Jon Jones with the clip that was released on his Instagram live, that he just randomly went live and started talking about ending people. And when you're on a trip and then it goes sideways. We'll talk about that clip in a little bit, but something is seeming like there's something up here not right with Jon Jones. And he's definitely on some substances that have him with maybe even a bit of like a derealized state, man. Let's keep listening. Let's listen to some more. Let's listen to some more Johnny Boy, and let's hear what he's saying. And we'll see where ultimately he fucked up bad.
Because they listen. And they teach me to be a man when I'm drunk.
Then he says, oh, I'm going to teach something about being mean when I'm drunk. So then he's admitting to being under the influence of alcohol. So is it that the shots to the head have gotten to him? very weird instance around John. And as I sit here and see it, it's like you think at 37, Jones would be grown up from getting drunk and, driving cars and crashing them, In his 20s, it's forgivable. Then it's just like now in your 30s, it's like, bro, you're a fucking delinquent. I mean, in your 20s, you're still a delinquent, but you're a delinquent with hope. In your 30s, it's like, oh, this is just who you are. You just do fuck all. Now, obviously, he already fucked up because it seems like he crashed this girl who is supposedly his friend. I don't know. Jon Jones got a fiance at home with 3 kids or so, maybe 4. Not too many, mothers of your children want you driving around with other women around 4 a.m. and shit like that, or whether it's 4 a.m. It says 2:39 on the screen, maybe 3 o'clock in the morning. Maybe it was there around 12. They said 11:30, but that's a nice. Oh, it was only 11:30 when really it was 12:15. There's a difference on paper in a court of law when they hear 11:30 p.m. versus 12:30 a.m. Oh, the early hours of the morning versus no, it was a late night. Now listen to this about Jon Jones and the officers encounter as they're talking on the phone.
So, listen to me, man. He's making threats, and if he's making threats, I gotta call an officer out here. Call him.
So it seems like Jon Jones threatened this man. It sounded like when he said he's drunk, he's mean, or he'll make him a man. It was slurish, right? Not easy to hear. But the officer felt threatened in this instant. Now, hearing the phone call, how threatening was John in this clip? Hearsay. The problem is what John is going to say guarantees that there's a legitimate threat on the table. All right? Listen to this clip from Jon Jones. This is where, if there was any bit of like relative doubt of innocence on a instance like this, threatening an officer and obviously fucking hit and run, leaving the crash scene and whatnot, and driving under the influence, it gets worse.
Well, dude, you won't be the first guy this year that I threatened. It's gonna die. You'll be the second one.
You won't be the first guy that I threatened this year. You'll be the second one. Listen again.
Guess what, dude? You won't be the first guy this year that I threatened. It's gonna die. You'll be the second one.
Guess what? You won't be the first guy this year I threatened. You'll be the second one. Terrible look. So admits to threatening a police officer. Admits he has ill intent, essentially. And that's bad enough. He takes it a step further. Threat is end of life. Not good. Not good. Listen in.
My brothers, they kill people for way less. Sometimes.
He said his brothers have ended people for way less. So, threatening an officer, leaving the scene of a crash with obvious intoxication, and who knows what other substances besides alcohol in the system. Could be something, like the booger sugar. Could be some magic shroomies. Could be something else. Terrible look for Jon Jones here. He disappeared to Thailand a little bit after this and did like that, Ultimate Fighter hype show that they do over with like a lot of the Russian fighters, and was a part of the house there. And supposed word from Dana White is I dropped my water. The fight against Aspinall was done and set to go before John went to Thailand. And it's strange. Did the UFC suppress this story? Did they have influence on this not coming out, but then John retiring? Right away, this gets released. And it says February 21st. Assuming it's around February 21st, right? I'll have to trust the body cam footage. Now, it's not over yet. The weirdness continues more so because there's another angle of the incident, and there's a few extra clips that aren't going around just on the viral clip that's spreading through X. This is a longer clip. Listen to this portion where the girl, the friend, the person that he's with says something weird.
Here. Oh, she has no pants. She said she has no pants.
So she has no pants. So Jon Jones is driving around with his supposed naked female friend. That seems like there's some serious infidelity going on alongside of the, abuses of certain substances, the illegally driving. Like, this is just weird, man. Is she getting in trouble for indecent exposure? Is he potentially under a harassment charge or an assault charge? I don't know, right? If she turns against him in court, who knows the depth of this story? He's supposed to appear in court July 21st, I believe, July 24th. I think about a month from today, because today's the 24th of June. Let's keep going through, though. So there is confirmation that it's Jon Jones, the UFC fighter. It's like, you hear it right here.
Rising, the driver of the vehicle that fled is Jon Jones, the fighter.
Jon Jones, the fighter, which, we already knew. We could hear the voice. But things get fucking weird. Things get weird here. This is where I think Jon Jones is completely out of his mind. Like, it is being on fuck shit, being a piece of shit. Jon Jones definitely is on the potentially sociopathic narcissist chart. I'm not arguing that. But there does seem to be some type of hardcore substances that have him disconnected with reality. And you'll listen to here. This is weird. This gets government talk, which it doesn't make any sense.
Are the ones who will really kill you.
Are the ones that will kill me?
No, not you. But the government, he doesn't fuck with the government just with conversations like this already.
Something about the government hearing conversations like this already. It makes no sense. It's downright delusional. He seems completely out of his mind and potentially in a state of psychosis with like a reality disillusion or dissolvement altogether. Yeah, Jon Jones was far from his right head in this instance. Now, I'm not saying that excuses his behavior, but definitely seemed to take something. Like, I don't know if you guys remember the prankster Vitali. He took the magical shroomies and he did some fuck shit. Beat a girl up, which was crazy. And not saying that's excusable either, but he ultimately did get off on that one. So I'm curious, Jon Jones not physically harming anybody, though he has said some threatening remarks and did something illegal. Like, I wonder how much trouble he's going to end up getting into. He keeps getting into these little criminal situations, right? Misdemeanor type stuff. I don't know. It's like, is there the relative doubt that in a court of law could be used in his favor? I mean, I think he's got to get some type of charge, but I don't know if he's going jail time for this. I don't know if he's doing jail time for this. That's really where I'm going. As Jon's lawyer, I'm stunned by the Albuquerque Police Department's decision to charge him in this new case. In the thousands of cases I have handled in my career, I have never seen a case as strange and as unwarranted as this one. Jon was not driving that night. He wasn't in the car. It appears that an intoxicated woman used a false allegation against Jon to avoid being arrested for DWI, and the police fell for it. So let's just analyze this for a second. Jon Jones never admitted to driving the car, but nor did he deny it. That wasn't me. I wasn't there. We never heard that. Instead, you're threatening a police officer. Instead, you go that route, which an innocent man doesn't seem to do something like that, It's kind of like you will be on the defensive in a state of guilt as opposed to the contrary. Based on the criminal complaint, it looks like they went so far as to seek a warrant for Jon's cell phone records while conducting a misdemeanor traffic investigation. Downplaying it, but Jon Jones was very hostile on the phone. Was he out of his mind? Absolutely. Could you say, oh, well, maybe he was tripping and he was at home and he got this call and he just happened to pick it up? There is a way to play innocence, right? By disillusion, but it's not legal to admit he was on certain things. Maybe they say he's under the influence of alcohol. I'm assuming that's what's going to be the official statement, but he wasn't at the scene. Maybe he was at his house. He was having a few drinks. He was never there. Never heard of such a thing. It is truly unbelievable that the police would waste this amount of resources on such a case. The only thing I can think of is that the police were targeting Jon for improper purposes. We will get to the bottom of it and make sure that this baseless case is dismissed. Wow. But see, I've always thought on the why. Why are the police just outing Jon Jones? Why do they just want to track him down and arrest him? Why? He's done some fuckery in the past, and it wouldn't surprise me if he was involved in this fuckery beyond the phone call, if he was there and ran from the scene. He has a history of it. The issue is with Jon Jones is when people tell you who you are, you have to believe it. You've seen it. You've seen Jon Jones in these legal cases. Like, if you bring me a guy that's never done anything illegal, no crimes or charges of any kind against him, and he's in the same instance, there's that relative doubt, and it's like, you know what? Maybe he is innocent, but he still threatened the officer, so he can get in trouble for that in itself, right? jail for. I don't know the exact level of offense. Let me know in the comments if you know. If we got any, experts in the field of law, let me know in the comments. I want to hear. I just think it's strange that they're going this route. He's targeted for no reason. He has a past history, right? He's done illegal things before and been charged. So I think in a court of law, he has a much higher chance of ending up guilty by what he's done before, looking at then the evidence here seeming to be strong and his reaction over the phone altogether. Things are very weird, right? You could say, oh, it's word versus word, but who knows if there's evidence? Who knows how far they take it? They're going to look at fingerprints on the car. Oh, John's handprint is there. It's there. It's there, right? There's a lot of ways they can run this thing. She gives more details about where they're coming from. Somebody else is like, oh, yeah, he was there. And, things can get pieced together. You can say, no, 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 but it doesn't mean you're not guilty of it. And yeah, Jon Jones's phone call was his biggest mistake. I think if he would have not been at the scene and this woman had accused him of it and he had just totally avoided it, maybe there's a chance that this type of story could be pushed, that this woman wants to defame him. Maybe she wanted to date him. Jones, rejected him. All stories could be made up. But he picks up the phone. She admits, they're friends. She doesn't have her pants on. It's a very weird instance here. And, it's a Jon Jones situation, and Jon Jones finds himself in these fucked situations, for lack of a better term, more often than he should, more often than most people ever do. The only other fighter getting in trouble like this is probably Dumas, who's getting arrested all the time and fighting this weekend. But, with Jon Jones' stardom and some of these instances, it takes it a step further into the mainstream. Now, this was weird. Do you guys remember this? Now, it was a week prior, February 15th, but in some senses, it tells me, Jon Jones definitely in his party scene, maybe he's on a bit of a bender of some kind within that week, and he was partying it up because this is supposedly 6 days before. You go on a trip and get pissed off, disappointed, and as a dad, you just want to end them, okay? So that's what he said at the end of this live stream. We can watch this live stream. It doesn't make a lot of sense. It's confusing and it's weird. It's a Jon Jones instance, but let's check it out.
On a trip and get pissed off, disappointed. And as a dad, you just want to kill.
You see how intoxicated Jon Jones seems, though? He seems out of his mind. Makes no sense. Out of his mind. Fucked up. This was supposedly the week before. Don't see the official date. Let's see if I can find it here. Is there an official date? This was posted February 15th. So a week prior to what the dated body cam footage is of this strange instance with Jon Jones evading the scene of arrest. So, not saying that that was the same night, but definitely Jon Jones may have been on some type of bender around this time period. And an instance like this happening for him is not shocking for me. I'm not that surprised seeing it. Now, am I the judge, juror, and executioner, guilty or not? I am not a court of law. And I don't have all the evidence. What I would ask for is if we could get definite fingerprints on that wheel, then I'd say yes. John's guilty of evading the scene of an accident, maybe endangering somebody, driving while intoxicated. On top of, yes, he's definitely guilty of threatening the officer over the phone. And who knows what else with this girl not having pants on. So John's is going to find himself in some deep shit. I know that July 24th is the seeming date that there will be a court hearing for it. I'm actually really interested to follow this story because I want more details on this. I want to hear Jon Jones' side. Because, the way that his attorney's acting, oh, they're just targeting me. That seems a little far-fetched. That doesn't seem likely. Now, I get it because he wants to, plead not guilty and completely, remove himself from the situation. But truth be told, everything around this case seems too probable that it's a Jon Jones incident. Driving and crashing and running away. Yeah, John's done that before. Hit and run on a pregnant lady. We've seen it. He's been fucked up, partying, having a crazy time, getting into a car accident and running from the scene because he doesn't want to get another, driving while intoxicated like he did back, several years ago. And that's like we found out now it's the least of his shit that he's gotten into. It's a tragedy that Jon Jones hasn't grown out of this, that he's still doing this fuck shit. It's unfortunately a big flaw in his personality, and I think it damaged his MMA career, especially towards this later run. Because what? Now he's just gonna be out partying, doing fuck shit like this? I think he should be back in the gym, training full time, and looking to fight the best heavyweight in the world in Tom Aspinall and the new undisputed champ. That was the fight that should have happened, bro. I'm pissed about that. I feel like without fighting, Jon Jones could get himself into a lot more trouble, though. I worry about Jon Jones in the next, 12 months. After this blows over, what's the next thing? Hopefully, the next thing is a comeback and he gets to watch a little more tape on Tom Aspinall and he decides, yeah, I want to actually go for it. Let's do it. If he's really, in that GOAT status position, why not dare to go for it all? Because a win over Aspinall to me is like already, he has the GOAT status, but he has, the check marks of the drug test failures. But if he went out there and beat Aspinall at the end of the run, I mean, it would be a great way to close the MMA career. And holy shit, public villain. I don't think anybody's going to have a different perception of Jon Jones because he can put it on well. He can be Mr. Professional, or he's letting the truth out here. You see in this instance with the officer on the phone, that's a scary Jon Jones. That's Jon Jones unhinged, man. And more often than not, out of the public eye, there seems to be a lot of unhinged moments for Jon Jones. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Let me know what you think. Guilty or innocent? Let me know in the comments. The people are the jury, okay? They're the judge, jury, and execution. I hope you guys enjoyed this drama reaction because that's really what it is. Make sure you all smash the like button. To close out, I want to say Jon Jones, amazing MMA career, but unfortunately, really a bad stain on who he was in the cage because of all this shit outside of the cage, from the failed testing to the illegal crimes and things. Ducking the Aspinall fight at the end, it hurts the way he'll be remembered for sure. And this is coming from an OG Jones fan. I watched Jones, the prospect, become the dominant champ. And I'm sad that he never grew out of this bullshit childlike mentality, this narcissistic and selfish mentality, and this endangering of the public mentality, because I think it's an immaturity issue and it's just a carelessness about people around you. And that's tragic to me, man. Especially with Jon Jones preaching a lot of the Christianity, in Jesus' name, all things through Christ, and then he carries himself in this way. I know he's fighting his demons, man. Everybody, I guess, has their own battles to fight, but it doesn't excuse this type of behavior. This is degenerate shit. Hope you guys enjoyed. Hit the likes, subscribe if you're new, W in the comments if you got nothing to say. I'm signing off. I'll see you all on the next one. Much love. Peace out.